Wenye nchi, how are you? How are you doing? How are the holidays? I hope you're okay. Yes, now if you've been to the social media, there's only one thing going around in the political spaces and other news outlets. The issue of referendum. And I decided to make this short video so that I can just do a small analysis about what I'm seeing, a deeper political analysis, and see what does this really mean for our country. So the speech about referendum, the whole conversation has been opened up by one Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Musalia Mudavadi, while he was in Vihiga. I want us at first to listen to the speech, then we'll come back and analyze it. Let's listen.
There is a beckoning reality that 2027 is a referendum moment. Allow me to state, without fear of contradiction, that there is an imperative need for a constitutional review 15 years after the promulgation of the 2010 Katiba. As your leader and son, I must speak the truth about a looming constitutional storm. As a country, we are staring at a massive legal crisis where the 2027 election could be nullified before it even begins. Our 2010 Constitution demands boundaries review every 8 to 12 years. Our deadline was March 6, 2024. We have passed it. We are now in a period of constitutional non-compliance. Here is the catch. You cannot have a boundary review without a valid national census. The 2019 census was nullified in 3 counties, namely Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa. The court ordered a mini census for the 3 counties to be conducted by January 2026, yani mwezi guza. So, here are the issues. The census deadlock here is that a patchwork census mixing 2019 data with 2026 data is a legal impossibility. There will be no valid population data. Therefore, it means that no valid boundaries, and subsequently, no valid boundaries mean no valid election. Notably, the structural benchmarks bottlenecks is that our population has exploded, yet we are trapped in Article 89(4) of the Constitution that limited us to 290 constituencies only. Without a constitutional amendment, the IBC cannot give high-growth areas the representation they deserve, and our protected constituencies face extinction. At the county level, there is equally a serious conflict between the 2010 Constitution that allows IBC to name, rename, reduce or increase county wards, when the County Government Act limits wards to 1,450 only. This again traps us into providing fresh wards to cater for the increased population and needs for resources closer to our people. Having noted that legal landmines that may hinder the delivery of the 2027 general elections and risk the nation departing from our long-held tradition of holding elections every 5 years, allow me to also bring forth more reasons for a beckoning reality that 2027 is a referendum moment. Fellow citizens, through Kenya's National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, formed for bipartisan talks on electoral and governance reforms, identified issues that only you can resolve via a referendum. And you remember NADCO was formed jointly also with the entire opposition, including the late Raila Amolo Odinga. And because he used to be a regular attendant of the Vihiga Maragoli Cultural Festival, I want us to show respect for him because he died this year, and this is a good moment for the people of Vihiga County to also honor the late Raila Amolo Odinga. If you can stand for 1 minute in honor of Musalia Raila. The NADCO report identified that we must entrench the NG-CDF, that is the CDF, in the Constitution. So courts can never again threaten the bursaries of our children. I here add with conviction that we need also to introduce a new development fund, namely the Senate Oversight Fund, to cater for the specific role played by senators in providing for devolution. That means we make CDF constitutional and we also make the Senate funds constitutional. As part of strengthening devolution and inclusivity, fellow citizens, we should also constitutionalize the proposed creation of the Ward Development Fund, which is also a necessary creation for MCS. The Ward Development Fund will ensure resources for water points, community halls, and other grassroots needs instantly. For a unified face of Kenya in government, we must formalize the office of the Prime Minister and the leader of the official opposition to ensure that every region sees its face in the mirror of government. On the same rate, fellow citizens, allow me to mention that a referendum in 2027 will give us an opportunity to completely solve the riddle of the 2/3 gender and its compliance, not merely as a constitutional requirement, but also as an act of fairness and inclusive democracy. A recalibration of our constitution will help us achieve this as well. That no valid population census data, no valid boundaries review, hence no valid election. That is the law and not my words. We must embrace this referendum as a legal necessity to save our democracy.
Kenya is that country where elections can be cancelled 3 years early, not because of violence, not because of money, but because of maths. Ladies and gentlemen, Musalia Mudavadi has dropped a constitutional bombshell. Calmly, politely, in that I am not panicking, but you should voice. He says, if we go to elections in 2027 without a referendum, Kenya risks a constitutional crisis. Now, that sounds innocent, but in Kenyan politics, nothing is ever innocent, especially when someone mentions referendum and crisis in the same sentence. So today, let's break this down. Is Musalia Mudavadi being a constitutional realist? Or is this a very polite decoy for extending power? And why does this suddenly make sense now that people are cheering Ruto like it's a gospel crusade? Let's look at Mudavadi's core argument, the legal angle. So, Mudavadi's argument is actually very clean on paper. According to Article 89 of the Constitution, the boundary review of constituencies was supposed to be done by March 2024. That did not happen. His logic is simple. No boundary review is the same as no legitimate constituencies, is the same as no legitimate elections. And therefore, any election held in 2027 can be challenged and nullified even before the first ballot is cast. What is the translation? Kenya could go to elections, then courts say, pole sana, wrong constitution, try again. That's not politics. That's a legal landmine. Underline the word landmine. But IEBC has been reconstituted. Does that solve it? Yes, IEBC has finally been reconstituted, but here's the problem. Boundary review is not something you do in a hurry like voter registration. It requires 1. Valid population data, 2. Time, 3. Public participation, 4. Legal timelines. And here's where things get messy. That is, the census deadlock. Mudavadi drops another quiet bomb. You cannot review boundaries without a valid national census. Now listen carefully. The 2019 census was nullified in 3 counties, that is Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa. The court ordered a mini census in those counties by January 2026. Yes, the constitutional nightmare. You cannot mix 2019 population data with 2026 data. Partial census is equals to illegal census. Illegal census is equals to no boundary review. No boundary review is equals to no elections. That's not politics. That's a legal chokehold. Then there's the issue of 290 constituencies. Kenya's population has exploded. Urban areas, high-growth regions bursting at the seams. But the constitution locks us into 290 constitutions only, according to Article 89(4). So, IEBC is stuck. It cannot add constituencies, it cannot fairly redistribute representation without a constitutional amendment, meaning, even if IEBC wanted to be creative, the constitution handcuffs them. This is like being told, solve the problem but don't touch the tools. So, why a referendum? Mudavadi says 2027 should be a referendum moment, run alongside elections. The referendum would fix boundary review timelines, legally anchor Prime Cabinet Secretary, create an official opposition office, fully implement the NADGO report, anchor the CDF fund in the constitution, anchor the ward fund in the constitution, solve the 1/3 gender rule, and many more. On paper, this sounds like nation building, but in Kenyan politics we ask, who benefits? So, this is where the suspicion comes in. Now let's be honest, this debate is happening at a time when allies of Ruto, including statements made in Uganda, openly say he should rule for 20 years. MPs are cheering the president like it's a football match. Broad-based government has blurred opposition lines. Power is unusually comfortable. So Kenyans are asking, is this about saving the constitution or re-engineering it. Because referendums in Kenya have history. 2005, it was political realignment. 2010, it was power restructuring. Referendum is never just a vote. It's a political reset button. So I may ask, was the IEBC delay accidental? Let's ask the uncomfortable question. IEBC commissioners were delayed for years. Now suddenly, deadline for boundary review is missed. Census is legally stuck. Constitution creates a dead end. Solution presented, referendum. Coincidence? Or classic Kenyan politics? Create a problem, then arrive heroically with a solution. It's like setting a house on fire, then selling water. So, is this a honest concern or a decoy? Here's the balanced truth. Mudavadi is constitutionally correct. The legal crisis he describes is real, but the political timing raises eyebrows, and the power beneficiaries are very clear. This can be a genuine constitutional rescue mission or a carefully packaged political opportunity. In Kenya, both can be true at the same time. So, is 2027 a referendum moment? Maybe. Is it also a moment where power could quietly stretch itself without saying term extension? Absolutely. Kenyan politics doesn't knock down the front door. It enters through the constitution wearing a suit. If this referendum happens, the real vote won't be yes or no. It will be who benefits if we change the rules. Because in Kenya, the constitution is law. Politics is interpretation. That's all I had for today. I thank you for watching me, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Let's have many audience and invite your friends to come and share this important information. Thank you.